Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to stand here today for such an important announcement in the well-being of our community. First, I want to thank William Barnes, President and CEO of the Urban League of Alabama, for his leadership and dedication. I also want to thank the Urban League's national leadership and President Mark Morial for supporting this expansion into Montgomery. I want to recognize the Urban League of Alabama's board members, staff, and community partners who have worked tirelessly to bring these resources to our city and to our region. And I want to thank all of you, all of our leaders, neighbors, and friends for being part of this moment. Montgomery's strength has always come from our people, their resilience, their talent, and their determination. By welcoming the Urban League's expanded presence in our city, we are building new pathways to opportunity for families, entrepreneurs, and young people. This partnership reflects our shared commitment to equity and empowerment for every resident of Montgomery and the River Region. That's the heart of why we're here. For more than 5 decades, the Urban League of Alabama has been a force for good in our state. They've equipped men and women with skills for today's workforce. They've opened doors for entrepreneurs and small business owners. They have provided counseling for families to buy their first home, support individuals struggling to keep one, and to help expand their businesses. They have mentored young people, guided students, and given hope to families navigating difficult challenges. Last year alone, the Urban League served more than 9,500 Alabamians through programs in housing, financial stability, education, and health care. That's not just a number. That is thousands of stories of lives made stronger, futures made brighter, and communities made more resilient. Now those services are coming directly to our great city. That means parents who want to stabilize their household will have more tools to succeed. That means young people who are searching for mentors will have access to those that believe in them and those who will walk with them along their path. It means entrepreneurs with an idea will have access to coaching, networks, and capital. That means families who dream of home ownership will have a real guidance to make it possible. In a city with Montgomery's legacy, this work carries even greater meaning. In the birthplace of the Civil Rights Movement, the city where Mrs. Rosa Parks sat down so that the nation could stand up. We are a city where ordinary people became extraordinary leaders, showing America and the world that justice delayed would not be justice denied. That same spirit is alive here today. The challenges we face may look different than 70 years ago, or even 60 years ago, but they are no less urgent. Too many families still live paycheck to paycheck. Too many young people still struggle to see a pathway from the classroom to a career. Too many neighborhoods still feel left out of the prosperity that others enjoy. That's why this expansion by the Urban League of Alabama matters so deeply to all of us. It connects the dots between the past, the present, and our bright future. It says that Montgomery is not content or complacent with symbolic progress. We are committed to tangible initiatives, tangible advancement. It says that equity is not just a slogan, it's a standard that we hold ourselves to. This partnership also reflects something I believe strongly. Government cannot do it alone. City Hall has an important role to play, but real change happens when we join forces with organizations, nonprofits, churches, businesses, and everyday people who care about their very own community and their neighbors that live within their circle. The Urban League is one of those partners, and together we can move Montgomery forward in ways that are meaningful and sustaining. Think about what it means for a young person growing up here today. They will see that their city and its partners believe in them enough to invest in their potential. They will see that their community has resources to help them succeed, mentors to guide them, and networks to open doors. And they will see that the history of Montgomery, a history written by bold men and women, is now part of their story too. When we invest in people, we do more than solve problems. We create possibilities. That's what this partnership is about. And that's why I'm so proud to welcome the Urban League of Alabama to Montgomery in this new and expanded way. Let's build on this moment. Let's carry forward the spirit of this partnership, and let's show our children, families, and neighbors that Montgomery is a city where opportunity is real, equity is pursued, and empowerment is possible for everyone. Thank you. And at this time, I want to ask President William Barnes, the Urban League of Alabama, to share a few words as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Listen, would you give your mayor a round of applause? So he's talked a little bit about the Urban League, and so I'm a man of a few words, and so we want to get in the community and start taking action. But I would like to share with you just a little bit about how this happened. And let me just start by saying that if it was not for Mayor Reed, we would not be standing here today. He's got some colleagues. I also want to recognize them, members of your council. Special shout out to District 3 Council lady. And let me just say this. Mayor, this is 7 years in the making. And it wasn't until this mayor continued to push, provided support, contacted the National Urban League. He's had many conversations with me. And I got to tell you, this is a long time coming, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do it. Montgomery, you are the first city outside of Birmingham to have the Urban League serving the state of Alabama. And I think that deserves one round of applause for the leadership of this city. Not only are we just talking about the resources, but Mayor, you guys put your money where your mouth is, right? And so they made an initial investment. We want to make sure that people understand that, these services don't come for free, if you will, that there's got to be investments. We know that there are stakeholders. And when you lead by example, as you have, Mayor, and as members of your council have led, I think that it sets an example for the way we need to go and how we need to move. So here's where we are. We're going to hit the ground running. There's going to be a number of listening sessions to connect with the community. What looks like in Birmingham may not be what's in Montgomery. What's in Montgomery may not be in Huntsville. And so the idea is to hear from members of the community. We have a ton of services. And Mr. Mayor, people say, well, man, there's a whole lot going on. You do youth services, housing, workforce development, entrepreneurship. That sounds like a jack of all trades, and we all know what that means. But let me tell you this. The Urban League is a century-old organization, so we've had plenty of time to get it right. We do these services. We do them well. We're here to serve the community. We don't present to be a silver bullet. But we want to make sure that people recognize us not only in social services, but as a community development partner. There are 92 plus affiliates across the nation, and we are kind of the masters of our own universe. And what does that mean? It means that the Urban League in Las Vegas is the lead organization for their SNAP programs. It means the Urban League in Miami is the lead organization for community development. When you think about community development, you think about partners. They want to come in and they need a 20 or 30% margin in order to make things happen. Well, the Urban League doesn't need to do that. But we have the expertise to be able to bring those things to the forefront. And so we want to be sure that we provide these services to you. We know we may not necessarily be perfect, but we believe that we're good enough to be able to lift people out of poverty, and that's what this conversation is all about. And lastly, let me just say this. What we understood during the pandemic is that you have neighbors that were 6- and 7-figure earners that needed services that the Urban League provides. I don't want anybody to walk out of the room. I don't want those that may be watching or they get a chance to see this on the news to just think that this is just about those that are underserved. That's why we exist. But when you think about tragedies and crises and things of that sort, I think this mayor certainly had the vision to understand that you've got a solid organization that can come in and provide support for the entire community. It's not a color. It's not about social economic stance. It's about being there to support folks when they're in need. And so, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. I also would love, if you don't mind, I'd love to if everyone would give Councilor Johnson a round of applause for her support. These two have, from day one, been very involved in the work that we've done. And so, again, thank you so much. Thank you for the vision, and I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. All right. At this time, we'll open up for any questions, if there are any.
Mayor, you guys said this is something that's been fighting for about 7 years. Why was it important to make sure that Urban League makes it here to Montgomery?
Well, I think being someone who's been a member of the Urban League, coming into the position as mayor, it was important for us to have national partners with a blueprint and with a network and a proven model of success to help people, whether that's in their businesses, in their personal challenges, and across really areas of community investment and community improvement. And I felt for a long time that the Urban League had been doing that under former New Orleans Mayor, National President Mark Morial. I've been exhibiting that under his leadership, and it really been a change agent in so many communities that I was familiar with friends and colleagues living there. And it was something that we also saw them doing in Birmingham that we wanted to see done here. And it's taken a lot of work. It's taken a lot of effort on all of our parts to get it done, but we believe it's going to be a great partnership for the community. So this is not really about the city of Montgomery or the mayor or the city council. It's about having a partner, having the staff, having the brain power and the expertise to maybe do some things that we would like to do, but don't really know how to do. Don't know how to do as efficiently, as effectively as the National Urban League has done in cities of all sizes for a number of years. You heard the president say for well over 100 years in this country. So that's why we wanted to partner with them, and we're glad to be here on this day.
Yes, sir. And you touched on it a little bit. Can you dive a little bit more into the specifics for what, services, resources, and everything that Urban League's going to be able to provide to people in the city?
I'll actually turn it over to the president.
So we have a wide array of services as we spoke about. So from housing, which, that when you talk about housing counseling, for instance, or housing comprehensive housing counseling services, that can range from a new homeowner that's looking to find their way and get educated on what does it mean and how to actually purchase a home. Or it could mean that there's a family that's in trouble or in jeopardy of losing their home, and we need to walk them and work with banks and things of that sort to be sure that they retain their homes. Youth development. So we have a program that deals with mentorship, as well as if we have areas where we know that there's violent crime that may exist. We want to be sure we have a violence reduction initiative that we also kind of administer. And then what I'd say is the mayor and I have talked extensively about the economic development in the city of Montgomery. And as I understand it, from us being educated on this, is that this town is a big government town, if you will. And the idea is to provide opportunities for entrepreneurship to increase your tax basis, to make sure that there's technical assistance to grow the actual community from the inside out. And so that's going to be a really huge focus on us. I think that starting out, probably the housing and the small business economic development space will be our start. And there's a whole lot of not sexy stuff that we do that supports the community in a number of myriad of ways. Yeah, so just what we were just speaking about, right? So in Birmingham, the focus there is really on is a hotbed for reduction in violence reduction initiative. So that's kind of where we're leading in that space. Here, we believe that it's in economic development around small business and housing. And so the idea is that we have the expertise to be able to bring all of these services to communities, and we're really going to be led by your leadership as well as the community to kind of guide us into what services we actually are. Now listen, we want to make sure folks understand that this is not going to be something that we snap our fingers and do overnight. Ideally, all of the services that this community wants, we're going to work to try to implement. But it doesn't mean that tomorrow we're going to be bringing 5, 6, 7, or 8 of our services into the community. We want to pick those 1 or 2, do those really well, partner with the communities, understand what their needs are, and then try to go from there. Yeah, ulalabama.org, and then we're transitioning, right? So I want to be sure we're clear. You're going to see Birmingham Urban League in a lot of different places. In 2024, we were one of 3 Urban League affiliates that got a statewide charter. So I'm glad you asked the question because it's going to be extremely important. So we are doing business as the Urban League of Alabama until all of that paperwork is completed. We certainly weren't going to come into Montgomery talking about the Birmingham Urban League, right? So I'm very fortunate. Again, I want to make sure that the message is clear that this mayor was very responsible and very proactive in ensuring that we were able to accomplish that goal of becoming a statewide organization. And then we couldn't think of a better city than to come to Montgomery first.
Thanks, everybody. Thank y'all.
Thank you. I'll get y'all to come up. Maybe we get a picture. Yeah, we got.